It's time to take a real look at the fact that the single wing could be a great choice for your youth program, for your struggling program, or could be a great thing, a little addition to your current offense.
We're not going to get a second chance in the game.
Welcome back to the Chief Pigskin YouTube channel. Thank you all who join us regularly to talk some ball. If you're here for the first time, hey, be sure to subscribe. We could always use the help. We're here learning football. We've got so many resources, from stuff for the new coach to stuff for the experienced coach. If you love ball, you need to keep learning and keep studying. Today's topic, single wing. Now, I was inspired to do this one because of my most recent Trap Life show. I'll link that show below, where I had a special guest, Mike Siricchio, a high school coach out in Connecticut who recently switched to the single wing. Upon looking at, when I found out what the topic was, it just slowly started to dawn on me how little I knew about the single wing, how little I had really looked at it, how little I had actually considered it as a realistic option. And I don't know why, probably because of my own ignorance. In my head, I had grouped it into this subclass of football somehow. I mean, guess that's the only way to say it, right? I mean, in me, as a wing T, double wing guy, the single wing is right there with it. It is a logical way to move the football, knowing that running the ball is the priority. I don't know why or how my brain had put single wing with 1940s. Again, myself, of all people, how could I let myself put a offense of any sort into a older type category? So shame on me, but that got me to start opening up some of our resources here at Chief Pigskin. Of course, if you join, you're going to see the resources that are. So I went into our library right here on under the join option, and I watched the Elba single wing video from Elba High School down in Alabama, and I watched, and that was from Mark Sieving, and I watched the video from a few years ago from Sigourney Keota High School, where Clint Weber did his single wing video. Those are the two videos that I watched, and as I started watching that and Coach Siricchio's offensive highlights, I'm going, dude, this is nasty. Like, this is right there with the type of stuff I love to do. Honestly, I think that I selfishly want to run like 3 programs where I can run all 3 of these different offenses that I love. Well, let me not waste too much time. Let's get over into the whiteboard and dive into how to start your single wing journey. Now, again, this is an incredible option for youth football team, especially in my opinion, as you're starting to get into older kids, and you get kids and families that want to see you snap the ball. They want to see a shotgun snap. All right? I mean, that's just real life. There's a pull, a draw to snap a shotgun snap. And there's the draw, obviously, because of what we see on TV. Football on TV is predominantly in a shotgun snap, right? It's certainly on Saturdays, and awful lot, probably over 50% on Sundays, right? The NFL uses the under center. Is under center more than college game, but Saturday, Sunday football, they see the shotgun, and kids want that. Kids love that. So they want to feel big time. So one of the biggest draws to single wing football is that you get to have a shotgun snap, and kids like that. And it can help keep parents off your back. Now, ultimately, they will figure out that you're really there to run the ball and just have some success. And that will help keep the parents at bay just a little bit. But let's take a look at this. This is where I would start. If you're going to run the single wing for your youth program, or you're turning a program around, let's take a look. We'll just dive in and take a look at, this is the plan I would use as I began to start my single wing journey. First and foremost, you're going to cut down your splits, of course, and go foot to foot. The next thing you're going to do is use the unbalanced concepts, right? So with the unbalanced concepts means instead of your tight end being here, you're going to actually move him to the weak side, and you're going to move the tackle to the strong side. And then you've got that X over to the same size as the tackle. Now, why run it unbalanced? Well, I don't have any better reason right now to run it unbalanced besides that's where the experts run it. The experts in the single wing run it unbalanced. So I don't have a good reason to do it the opposite of them. I think you should run it unbalanced. Now, if you're really uncomfortable doing it like that, you could always just run it unbalanced like this and cover your tight end. You could always do that. And then it's easy to quickly unbalance and be in a better throwing situation and bring X over to be in a better running situation. So you could certainly do it like that. Your choice. But the experts are going to put that tight end to the weak side and move a tackle over. Okay, so they're going to run this tackle over. Now you can always play with this split. I would love playing with the split of this man. You can reduce down and pin some guys in if you wanted to run outside, or you could split out and try to pull guys out with you, maybe even pull an outside defender out with you just a touch. But by default, that's where you're going to start. Now the cool thing, of course, you can have a fullback and a wing, foot-to-foot splits, and then you've got this tailback and this spinner back. Now I think that the spin series comes second, third, whatever. It comes later. You start with just snapping it directly to your tailback, your number one player. And this is one of the reasons why I love it so much for the youth level and even smaller high schools, is because at the lower the level of football, the more often you have one player that's significantly better than the others. But listen, that's not just a small school thing. Like, that could happen at a large school too. When you come in and there is one guy who is worlds better than the rest of your team, well, there's your tailback. And now your spinner back, that's kind of your customary quarterback. Your guy that if he can throw, you would put the guy that could throw right there. Okay, so everything starts with power. And all the same power rules, I would use the same power rules that we used down in when we worked on the double wing. But you really want to get two double teams at the play side. Your fullback is kicking out on that J path, and you're trying to get that backside guard through. Now, what's great about power in the single wing is that now you're also getting the help of this spinner back, and he's leading through the hole as well. And so now, of course, you just have an extra man there at the point of attack. You can't go wrong with an extra man at the point of attack. Now, your whole offense is going to revolve around this play. So you need to be very good at it. And to be very good at a play, well, you have to practice that play a whole lot of times. Not only do you practice it a whole lot of times, you practice it a whole lot of times against a whole lot of different looks so that your kids are prepared to handle different looks. And you need to have those answers. How will we block it versus an even front versus an odd front? Now, you could just go rule-based, and your rules should cover most things. But some of the best people at power will go with, they'll be able to block it at certain fronts. They'll identify odd versus even. So don't ask me how to block power. Go to an expert. Check out one of these videos. Check out the one from Elba. Go ask Coach Gilmore down in Alabama. Reach out to Saricchio, who was just on the latest podcast over for Trap Life. Reach out to Clint Weber over in Iowa. Reach out to these experts, or shoot, I've got a video coming up and heading down south to Fort Myers, Florida, Coach Delgado. So you'll get to meet him in another week. He also has content on the online clinic. Reach out to Coach Delgado. Find these experts, these guys that do it at a high level, and say, how are you blocking power? But make no mistake, you need to be incredible at this play. Now, the next option that I think was so simple, I just loved it. This one, that was what Coach Saricchio is doing, is that now they're going to run counter, but they're just going to run counter with the same tailback. It's barely, talk about low risk. There's not even a handoff here. Now your center's going to block back. You're going to get a double team over here at the play side. You want to, of course, pull guard, maybe tight end if you can. And your fullback here is going to wrap this way and lead through. And your tailback is going to take the direct snap. He can just kind of hop to the right, and then he's going to come back left. Let's change this here into an arrow. Hop right and come back left. What an easy, simple way to run counter, and it is highly effective. Because you're so good at power, the defense defense has to shift. Well, you would hope you're good enough at power that you're forcing their hand to overplay it a touch. And if you can do that and achieve that, then now this simple counterplay hits back and can be nasty. Now, so much more you can do. The sky is the limit, but these would be some of my top options. First, when you run power a lot and are very good at it, eventually you start to get players over here on the defense that begin to crash in really hard, really diving in hard, which is why it's great to have just an ISO option, right? And Coach Elba down in Alabama has this option. They are just going to split the C's here. Boom, boom, let these guys block out wherever that natural hole is. Split the C's here in the middle. Let me get rid of this guy's block right there. We want to get to the next level, and we're just going to get both these guys through here, double ISO. And just run ISO right here. A direct snap right to them, straight ahead. Now, one of the reasons that can be so tough is because these linebackers are so used to having to scrape on power, scrape over the top. And a lot of times during the week, they are counting on these guys scraping because they're asking these guys to dive in there so tight to spill this power. And now you're catching guys automatically scraping because they're anticipating that it will get spilled. But if you can't guarantee that these guys are going to down block and they could just part the C's right here and come right at you, that is a very difficult wrinkle to defend. So now already we've got this 3-play package that, Jesus, is enough to carry you through 90% of all games. Now, I have seen from most single wing coaches that they will also snap to this tailback and bring a wing back counter where the tailback will hand to that wing back. And if you know 3-back offenses at all, wing back counters, if you know football much, you know that wing back counters can really be deadly. So there's an incredible option. I think what you're going to have, your hardship when you decide to run single wing or add a single wing package, your hardship will be cutting yourself off. Like, at what point do I stop adding wrinkles? The next phase to your offense, if you can get to this point, is that you'll want to start adding the spinner series. Now, what's nasty about the spinner series, of course, you snap it to the spinner back. Like this guy is your classic quarterback, and he actually spins, right? So generally speaking, let me delete what he's going to catch the snap and turn to this tailback because the tailback will be running and sprinting behind him for like a fake handoff, okay? Or at times, you'll give him the handoff. So now my spinner back is going to catch the snap, turn to the tailback, put that ball in his belly, and spin around, and then attack forward again. Okay, now Clint Weber out in Sigourney Kyoto is saying, hey, once we put that ball in that tailback's belly, now we've got to start covering ground to the line of scrimmage, right? So they are covering ground to this line of scrimmage in a hurry. So now you can run something to your spinner back. So now you could give to this tailback off spinner and run kind of your classic sweep, which is a great option. Get the guard out and kick, get the next guard out and wrap, right? Pin these guys inside. This is where we might bring down this X receiver and try to pin a man inside and run sweep. Give to that tailback, sweep. And then you fake to the tailback and attack straight ahead, whether it's with a quarterback trap or a quarterback counter action, or you block it like power, or you block it like ISO. Again, find these experts and decide which way you're going to block it. But this spinner series now becomes the next really tough wrinkle. And as you look and find more single back people, you'll start catching them bringing this wing back in motion as well. And now you got a quarterback spinning, you got a tailback going one way, a wingback going another, and it's just this meat grinder of action, play action in the backfield, and the defense's heads are spinning. But again, the defense's heads aren't spinning unless you're good at just attacking it, good at just running power, good at just running a play or two, right? So adding more wrinkles does not make you better. You've got to be good at the game first, then adding wrinkles makes you tougher to defend. So if I'm a guy that runs a really dynamic offense, Maybe I am a guy that likes to play in 11 personnel, right? We're going to play with some wideouts out here. We got a really dynamic attack. And we'll say my quarterback, obviously my attack normally looks something like this. Well, if your quarterback has some toughness at all, you can just scoot him over, move the tailback closer to behind center, and run power, a direct snap to your tailback, and run a true power play. What a simple addition to your offense if you're a 10 or 11 personnel guy. You know, you'll see teams a lot, if they are a 10 personnel, they might be forced. They love the idea of power, but you don't have a kick-out guy for power, so they're kind of stuck running some power read. Well, you don't need a real devastating block as a fullback on power. It's nice to have one, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a devastating block. So you could move this guy over, even bring a guy in motion maybe. We're going to sprint this guy across in motion. That'll give a little bit of a horizontal stretch. Quarterbacks, they're going to run power up front. Bring this backside guard through. Quarterback's going to go ahead and lead the way. Give me a nice little quick kick out with his outside shoulder. And let that tailback, let's snap it to him and attack. What a simple little wrinkle to add to your attack. All right, so let me know who in your area is an excellent single wing team. I need to continue down this rabbit hole. If there's any topics you'd like to see covered, be sure to comment below and we will do what we can to cover them. Otherwise, I'll see you next week right back here talking more ball.